Hey, Pretty Girl Club. Have you ever noticed how Cardi B is not black, but Tina Knowles is? I've noticed this hypocrisy in the unambiguous community where one person is black if they like that person or if they want that person to represent them, but then another person is not black if they just dislike that person's personality. So I've noticed that a lot of people, they like to make Beyonce kind of the representative for blackness and black women. And we all know that the majority of unambiguous women don't actually look like Beyonce. But the way that they make that argument is they try to say, well, she has two black parents and, she's a quote unquote yellow bone black woman. But then I've also noticed that in real life, if a woman has Beyonce's same phenotype and she says, yeah, I'm light skinned or something, then people will try to say, oh, no, you're not. You're a regular, unambiguous, brown skinned black woman. So do you see how a lot of people will throw us in and out of ambiguity? They'll throw us in and out of blackness. Another thing I've noticed is with Giselle from Real Housewives and Robin as well. They say that Giselle and Robin don't count as black, but it's like, okay, Giselle and Robin, they look like Tina Knowles. And so how is it that you've got three women who have a similar phenotype and two of them don't count as black, and then the other one, oh, she's black because she's Beyonce's mom? And this is exactly what I'm talking about. And so because of this hypocrisy, we actually get a privilege over here of being able to claim mixed race or embrace our mixed race heritage and being forced back into black spaces. Another thing that I've noticed is if you piss the black community off or if you are seen as too privileged, then they will take away your black card. So like in Cardi B's case, when she first came out, she was like getting really popular really fast, and then people were saying like, oh, she's not really black. I think she like won a Grammy or something when she first came out, and people were saying like, that's not fair. She got rich and famous faster than other people, and so therefore her success must equate to non-blackness. And that's actually an internalized anti-black talking point because you're equating unambiguous blackness with failure and you're equating non-blackness with success. I've noticed that they're doing the same thing with Ice Spice. They're saying, oh, Ice Spice, she only got famous because she's not actually black. And it's like, okay, so you're basically implying that if she had been actually black, she would have been a failure or she would have not been able to be as successful. So by saying that, you're actually implying that blackness holds people back from success. And we all know that race is ultimately a social construct, but until there is a set standard of what is considered blackness that has an actual DNA percentage on it, then we are going to continue to have the privilege of a fluid identity. But I've also noticed this thing where the black community, if they see someone who is very powerful, like Meghan Markle or somebody who's very famous, Meghan Markle, Beyonce, Kamala Harris, Barack Obama, they will try to claim that person as just being black so that they can add something to their black achievements, or so they can go brag to their white friends like, oh, see, look, this woman that you're listening to who's singing country music now, yeah, she's black like me. And I've noticed there's this habit where people will almost try to tether on to you so that they can kind of ride the clout of your accomplishments, or so they can make themselves seem like they are more desirable. But then this actually harms the unambiguous community because then they're going to turn around and argue that they're being replaced, as they did with Cardi B. And it's like, well, a lot of people in the black community won't admit that if a woman in real life who looked like Cardi B claimed her mixture, people would try to say that because of her hair texture that she doesn't really count or she looks like a regular, everyday, unambiguous black woman. And so this is exactly why we have fluid identities. This is why we utilize this to our advantage, because we know that people will start arguing over our racial background. People will argue about our privilege. We know that it's going to cause us to gain more publicity. So like in the case of these rappers and stuff, they know that they're going to gain publicity with people arguing about their race. Even Tyla and the obsession over her race, when Tyla herself said that she identifies as colored. And it's funny because in the black community, they were like, she's being marketed as black. And it's like, okay, what is being marketed as black? And then they showed pictures of her with Afro puffs. And it's like, okay, you guys saw a picture of Cardi B with an afro and you rejected her blackness. So which one is it? Do Afro puffs make a person black? So do you see how the standards for blackness or mixed race, they're constantly moving the goalpost? And this is why I say on this channel, you should just use your fluid identity to your advantage. because when it comes to Black scholarships, HBCUs, Black pageants, Black acting roles, and stuff like that, if that person is not gatekeeping it, like the directors and the people in charge of that stuff, then I see no problem with women of mixed ancestry gaining those accolades for themselves, because we all know that people will try to throw them into blackness, and then, later on, once they're successful, then they can say, oh, actually I'm colored, or actually, I have a Creole background. That's just a part of social climbing, and I feel like the only reason that people get mad is because they haven't learned how to utilize their own privileges. They don't recognize their own privileges, and they don't know how to use them. So I'm probably going to make some videos about all the different privileges, skin tone privileges, hair texture privileges, and we're going to talk more about that. But what do you ladies think? Have you ever noticed this hypocrisy where like one person is Black, the other person is not, and they might have a similar phenotype, or because of a person's hair texture, then suddenly you want to deny that they're mixed race, like Solange? A lot of people love to deny the fact that Solange is mixed race, and it's because of her type 4 hair. So a lot of people won't admit that they associate type 4 hair with a dark skin tone. They have a stereotype that if you're light-skinned, you're supposed to have curly hair. And so whenever they see a light-skinned person with type 4 hair, then suddenly people don't want to acknowledge if you're mixed race, or they want to try to have you deny your heritage. But what do you ladies think? Let me know in the comment section, and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.